I keep telling myself I did the right thing. I keep going back to that moment, the detective's notepad, my own handwriting on the statement form, and I keep landing in the same place, which is nowhere, which is the same loop I've been stuck in for 11 months. My name is Renata, and the man I'm talking about, the one whose life I may have saved, or may have destroyed, depending on how you want to look at it, his name is Gerald. Gerald Moss. He's 63 years old. He grew up in the same neighborhood he still lives in. He taught himself to play the harmonica in his 40s. I know this because he told me on the front porch one evening in early September, and I remember thinking it was one of the loneliest and most beautiful things I'd ever heard. We'd been neighbors for 4 years before any of this happened. He lived in the duplex next to mine. He'd bring in my packages when I was traveling for work. I'd pick up his mail during his fishing trips upstate. It was the kind of quiet, low-maintenance neighborliness that you don't realize you're grateful for until it's gone. His ex-wife, Donna, lived 3 blocks away. They'd been divorced for 8 years. I never met her personally, but I'd seen her car, a green sedan with a dent in the rear bumper, parked outside his place maybe 4 or 5 times over the years. I assumed they were civil. That's all I assumed. Then, on a Tuesday afternoon in October, a cold one, earlier in the season than you'd expect, I came home around 4:30 and I heard them arguing through the shared wall. Not words, exactly. Just the pressure of 2 voices going at each other. Gerald's low and flat. Hers higher, breaking at the edges. I stood in my entryway for a moment with my keys still in my hand, and I made the conscious decision not to get involved. About 20 minutes later, I heard her car start outside and leave. I told myself it was over. Donna went to the hospital that night. A fractured wrist, a bruised eye socket. She told the ER nurse her ex-husband had done it, and by Thursday morning, Gerald had been charged with domestic assault. The detective, a woman named Officer Sims, very measured, very patient, knocked on my door Friday afternoon. She asked if I'd heard anything. I told her I had. I gave a statement. I signed it. I said I heard escalating voices, and what I believed to be physical sounds consistent with a struggle. And here is where I need to slow down, because what I actually heard, and this is the part I've never said out loud to anyone, was not what I wrote on that form. What I heard was voices, raised voices, and then a single loud bang, the kind that could have been a door, could have been a cabinet, could have been something thrown. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But the way Officer Sims asked her questions, the way she looked at me with this quiet, steady expectation, I felt the shape of the answer she needed, and I let myself fill it. I told her the sounds were consistent with a struggle. I told her I'd been concerned enough to pause in my own hallway. Both of those things were technically true. But I smoothed over the part where I couldn't actually tell what happened. I left out the doubt. And the statement I signed made it sound like I had witnessed something more conclusive than I had. Donna had injuries, real ones. I'm not disputing that. But I also knew from something Gerald had mentioned once, offhandedly, on that same front porch conversation, that Donna had accused him of something similar during the divorce, that it hadn't been pursued, that it had cost him anyway. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know if it's relevant or if I'm reaching for reasons to protect a man I like. 3 weeks after I gave the statement, Gerald's daughter called me. Her name is Priya. She's in her late 20s. She'd come home from out of state to help him. She wasn't angry on the phone. She was exhausted. She said Gerald had a witness, someone who'd seen Donna's car parked outside his building, then driving away quickly, then stopping at another location before the hospital. A gap in the timeline that didn't match Gerald's account of events. She asked me if I would reconsider my statement. She asked me if I was sure about what I heard. I wasn't. I had not been sure from the beginning. That was the truth. So I contacted Officer Sims. I told her I needed to clarify my statement, that I had overstated my certainty. that I could confirm voices and a single loud sound, but that I could not confirm with confidence that what I heard was physically consistent with an assault. The detective's voice went very quiet on the phone. She asked me if anyone had contacted me. I told her Priya had. There was a pause. She said she'd note the call. The charge was eventually reduced. I don't know all of the details. I know there was a hearing. I know Gerald didn't take a plea. I know he's still living next door to me and that we have not spoken since October. Not once. His lights are on at night. Sometimes I hear him playing that harmonica. And every single time, I sit with this question that I cannot answer. Did I withdraw my statement because it was the honest thing to do, or because I liked Gerald and Priya called me and I wanted to give him a way out? Donna had a fractured wrist. That part isn't in dispute. Something happened in that apartment, something that put her in a hospital. And I signed a piece of paper, and then I unsigned it, and I have no idea which version of me was telling the truth. I'm not asking for your sympathy. I'm not asking for absolution. I've had 11 months of trying to figure out if I protected an innocent man or helped an abuser walk lighter through a door he didn't deserve to walk through. Both of those outcomes feel possible. Both of them feel like mine to carry. I hear the harmonica some nights, and I wonder if it means anything. I decide it doesn't. Then I lie awake deciding it does. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments.